Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi everyone. Today's Monday, October the 20th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band. We are beginning by taking a look at the E-mini S&P 500 futures index, and very interestingly, as I mentioned in market kickoff yesterday, we are beginning our 6th day inside of this giant range. 6 days. A break is going to come, and when it comes, it's probably going to be pretty savage. No idea of what direction it is. Trying to take a look at charts that are positioning new highs. Let's see how it looks on the daily, right? We are inching up the rail, but again, also lower highs. The high we want to breach, if we are buyers, is the 6740 call wall. Okay, so if we're staring down that 6740 call wall, that's going to be the most important thing. The closing candlestick formation for the last 30 minutes of Friday's trading puts us in this accumulation box. And so this is the box we want to look at in terms of seeing just how well the price action is holding. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Always operator error here. Here we are. We've come in. We hit about the halfway spot, looks like to me, eyeball-wise. So let's duplicate this. Let's clone this rectangle and see if we can see how much of the upward range oh my, look at that. Folks, you can't beat it. Look at that. Textbook. What does this tell you? This tells you that the underlying trade formations are very algorithmic, right? Extremely algorithmic. They're looking at the inventory accumulation event, and they are expanding in a one-to-one fashion, right? So we know that that's right up here. Let's clone it again and look to see what's going on below, right? That puts us for a low edge at 6680. The put wall today is 6700 for the 0 DTE. The call wall is 6740, so only 40 points of motion priced in today. I find that to be very, very interesting. We have big volume, big momentum coming in, but not really big volume. So price action is holding pretty steady. Dips or buys, clearly upward formation here. The dips could be deep, so watch for them to hold. First dip to hold likely is the 6700 call wall. Spikes likely to fade. Could be all the way up at 6750 though, right? We have the peace deal in jeopardy. I'm shocked. Of course not. I'm not shocked. I talked about this. You can't put two people in a room that hate each other with other people in the room going, no, don't you remember they hate you? Don't you remember you hate them? That's what's going on over there, folks. We just have to realize you can't broker a truce. This is only the second coming is going to fix this, and that's on the horizon. But neither here nor there. This is what we've got. I know some people going, man, she is flat out bonkers. Yes, maybe I am, but that's okay. Let's go on with the chart. Value area low, 6660. Value area high, 6744. This is an interesting gamma line at 6750. Watch the pressure events. See all these wicks? We're going to have to be careful about those today. Don't step in front of the bus, folks. You're likely to get flattened. You want to be careful. Let's go to the NQ. I think I have not had enough coffee. This is my thought. All right, let's first look at the daily. See if we've got the same kind of behavior. Why, yes, we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in the range. Today, we're up at the call wall already, 25,100. Now remember, these call walls and put walls only tell us listen, you're going to have a fight there. It does not tell us it's going to resolve below. It does not tell us we're going to resolve above. It tells us, hey, there's a fight. So realize that, and then look at the charts and see where relative resistance is, relative support is, and choose accordingly. Some of you might be listening going, I don't know what you're talking about. That just means there are parts of your trading journey that you need to get a little bit stronger in, and that means you're going to be looking at things like, what does price tell me? Remember, we don't lean on our indicators for decisions. We let price give us decisions, and we lean on our indicators for ancillary support or auxiliary support, right? So what are we staring down? Breach of the call wall last night. 4 a.m. candlestick, we know how important that 4 a.m. candlestick is, broke down underneath all this inventory accumulation and back down into this frontline support. My thought is that 25,000 is going to be that relative support zone. Dips are still buys. Inventory accumulation, let's draw the same box, see if we can find it. Okay, old resistance, new support. Let's get that right. Yeah, it actually breached that ledge if we wanted to go, relatively evenly. It looks like it breached the ledge. Somewhere around here. This box. Let me move this box. Right? Well, it looks like the box. Let's duplicate it. Come on, Sally. Yeah, it did breach it. Breach the call wall. And this is very, very important, right? We see this a lot with the NQ. Savage move up and then a collapse. Keep your eyes on this congestion zone. If they try to break it because of these higher lows, my suspicion is that they'll slip into the next gamma line, and that's 25,200. Okay? If we look at the movement below, looks like 24,870 is a high volatility node. Yep, the 0 DTEs for the put wall is down here at 24,625, but the put support wall for the weekly and monthly is 24,800. What does that mean? It means intra-week, or before the month closes, they are expecting a potential of a deep dip and then a recovery. That makes perfect sense to me. So these put support guys are thinking to themselves, hey, listen, I might be underwater, but I'll sell the 0 DTEs, collect, expect price action will rebound, and then I'll be sitting between this 300-point range that's sitting right here. Dips are clearly buys, right? We tested the low of the opening 30-minute candlestick formation and then bounced. That's going to be the first line in the sand, and then pre-market low, potentially the second line in the sand, and that's 24,950. Let's take a look at gold. So let's first take a look at the dailies, right? Gold is kind of quiet today. A lot of folks tried to short gold a little bit too early, or they held on too long. Remember, if you think there's going to be a downward float, which I do, I'm looking for the bounces that fail, and if they don't continue, I'm getting out. Very important thing to note, you don't want to hang on, because this is a pretty leveraged product. Yeah, pretty leveraged. And so we want to be careful, very careful about what's going on. All right, so here's our last wave rotation. We're moving up. We are inside of the close of the prior day, that's Friday, but still well below the highs. Let's go to 30-minute. Let's see what these folks are buying. All right, here the call wall for the 0 DTE is 4,300. The call wall for the weeklies and monthlies, 42.50. Well, where's price? 42.78. Now, I suspect that this number is the number that's the dividing line between the buyers and the sellers. Doesn't mean it won't breach, doesn't mean it won't kiss that 4,300, but if it comes back down and fails this shelf, I think we have more downside action in the near term, right? So what are we staring down? A little bit of sideways action. We know that there's some noise there in the Middle East about, finger pointing, saying, no, you did it. No, you did it. Ridiculous. So anyways, moving on. They are trying to breach this. Could you buy this breakout event? Well, 30-minute chart isn't very definitive here. So I would say if you bought this, you'd have to be really quick taking it into 42.87, or you're going to get punched in the face. So I would suggest let it bounce and then take the fade, or let it bounce, retest, and hold this 42.75-ish zone. It's so important. I don't quite know why, but it certainly is. I don't know what the traders are seeing there, but I certainly see price congestion in that zone. 0 DTE put wall, $4,180, and the active put wall, holy smokes, all the way down at 3,800. Okay, that's, of course, pretty significant. What's trend? Pretty sideways. So my thought is this is ideal price action for a big spike to go short, or a deep dip to try and buy the longs. Absolutely love it there. Silver, we did silver last night on the show. Really nice. We bought, what did we buy? I think this dip to the lower high, which was absolutely fantastic. But let's take a look quickly. Here is the daily chart. Same sort of thing, battling with the open of that prior day. Gold is doing a better job at that. Here we have trend, down, momentum, mixed, buyers and sellers trying to gain control, heavy congestion, 30-minute formation, high volume candlestick. The last high volume candlestick has proven out as a baseline support structure, right? So here is where we are, this last formation, and then the highest volume candlestick of the day is really giving us the high of the prior, the high of the overnight. So what do we have to do? We have to break through this gamma wall at $51.02, $51. And the first thing that's going to happen is the spike up that reverses. Remember, if you chase it out, you better just chase it out for a few ticks, get your money, and run back to the cave, because these guys are going to sit a little bit landlocked here in this formation, in my mind. Momentum is not telling us it's got a break coming. Trend, the VWAP is completely flat, and overall trend is down. It's some sort of flag pattern into mean reversion, right? And so it's trying to catch up with this moving average up here. Call wall, again, $50.50. Weekly, monthly call wall, 50. 0 DTE put wall, $48.50. And the big put support wall at $47. So very sideways action there. Let's go to SPY. Here's SPY. Landlocked like everybody else. Here's the big day of reckoning, and now we sit a very sideways. Call wall, $670. Put wall, $655. That's for the weekly and monthlies as it sits right now. Oh, excuse me. That is the 0 DTE call wall is $670. Whoa, look at where they shifted the call wall for the weekly and monthlies. Holy smokes. All right. They're expecting any kind of dip to be bought. with big acceleration to the upside. That's giving us some really good institutional clues. Dips are buys, for sure. Put wall 655, put wall for the 0 DTE 660, 0 DTE call wall 670. Where are we sitting? Well, pretty congested, right? I still suspect in this rotation that big spikes going to be sell zones and big dips going to be buy zones. So where did they accumulate inventory? Well, just look at that, right? My thought would be, if you want to buy something, go on $662. All right? That looks like the first pass. For me, we could see all kinds of craziness this week, really. It's a very interesting, very volatile week. We'll see what happens, right? And then as we dip, October, which is what they're calling this month, October, we are very likely to see the month end positive because I expect a very sharp reflexive bounce into the end of the month, but I also expect a dip this week. We might have to hang on there. All right, everybody, take care. I'll see you on the streams.